Hello everyone, today we will be installing this Noctua NF-A4X10 fan into this Synology onto the chipset on here, or the CPU on here, because I have this old Synology DS1815 Plus that I've been running for almost a good 8 years, but I noticed the temperature in it has been kind of getting high, so I'm going to repaste the CPU and installed this fan, this mini fan on the heatsink to give it extra cooling capabilities. So this looks like this fan is 40 by 10 millimeters, so it's a little small fan, and I think it's big enough to fit on the heatsink, but who knows? We'll find out when I take it all apart. And this kit pretty much comes with everything. It comes with mounting hardware, although I think this is for chassis mounting. It has a fan here. It's got the cables and all that good stuff. So what I can do is I can open this up real fast and show you guys what's inside before I open this guy up and try to get it installed. So let's take a quick look at this kit here. So I think it comes with everything that you need, hopefully. So yeah, so this is the chassis mounting points. This is the fan itself. It's really small. It's a little bit under 2 inches here, as you can see. So yeah, so each of these represent a square inch. So it's really small. So hopefully it will fit. You got the mounting, chassis mounting. You got the Y splitter. And looks like some accessories here where you could probably do your own custom splicing. Another cable here, female to male connector, so you get 2 of those, and mounting screws. So yeah, they give you quite a bit of hardware, so hopefully it's everything I need in here to get this project going. I'm hoping this fan will at least get the temperature down for this guy. During the winter it's fine, but during the summer, like now, it just runs too hot, and I don't like it since it's holding all my stuff. So that was the fan unboxing. So now we're gonna open this guy up and take everything apart, and we'll take a quick look at the CPU heatsink. Alrighty, so here is my Synology Nas. It's an 8-bay one. So the first thing you want to do before you start taking everything apart is just make sure that you label all your bays, because you want to, when you take it out, you want to remember which hard drive is which, so that you can boot it back up. And if you're running, this has 4 network connector, and I am running link aggregate on it, so you want to make sure that you also keep track of which network cable. I label line 1, 2, 3, 4 on the cable. So that's that. And yeah, so first thing first is let's start taking off the hard drive base. So let me flip this up, and then I got this key here, so I'm going to open it up. Some of my bays, kind of the spring mechanism is kind of broken, so that's why some of them are popping up. The cage costs, I saw it cost about 30-40 bucks online, but since when you lock it, it stays down, I decided to keep it. But yeah, the design of these bays aren't the best. So that one's already unlocked, and I'm gonna unlock this guy. So it looks like everything's unlocked. So like I said, these 2 kind of broke, so it springs up when I unlock it. So then you push it in, it should pop open. And now I'm going to remove each drive. This is my cache drive. So yeah, all the drives taken out, and there's some dust in here, so I'm going to clean that out. So, and there's some more dust in the back too, so I'm going to clean that out later. I'm going to try to install the fan on that guy there. See, there's the heat sink. So, at the CPU. So, first thing you want to do now is in the back, I believe you want to remove these screw to slide off the chassis. So it's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, so now the board is on this side here. So it looks like there's 2 standoffs here that we need to remove. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna take those off right now. So this is a kind of a sticky material. I took it off before, but it kind of fell off. So you can put this on later or leave it off. That's up to you guys. And then once everything's off, you want to remove the cables, these ribbon cables here. So if you push these off, these 2 tabs out like this, it will come off. So just push it outwards on both sides and it will come off. And then we're going to take the power supply off. This looks like it's a standard power supply, so just be careful when you're doing it. Might help if you get like a flat screwdriver and kind of pry it open because it is kind of tight a little bit. There you go. It is on there pretty tight, so just be careful when you remove it. And then let's see here. So everything looks good. Have to remove this guy too. And then I think there is a connector on this side. So when you pull it out, try to pull it out on this side here. And then it kind of comes off. Okay. So now it's off. So there's 2 connectors. There's a connector here and here. So when you take the board off, just make sure that you kind of pull it off slowly so it comes off of that connector there. So this is everything out. The motherboard's out. We'll have to take this part out later to do the Y cable connection. But yeah, so that's everything here for now. So we're going to put this away. And then this is the motherboard. So this is what it looks like. And I could, oh, you know what? It looks like it was running a little hot because the heatsink here looks like it popped off a little bit right here. So that's probably why it's running a little hot. So luckily I opened it up to check. So make sure that when you put it back, you got that down, you got it in tight. All right, so I'm going to remove the heatsink. Pushing this in and removing it. Okay, so it is off. And as you can see, I need to clean that off there and clean the paste off from here. But before I do that, let me take a look at this fan here and see the size of it. So size looks okay for it. I just got to figure out how to mount it on. Now that I got everything apart, I am going to clean the heatsink and the old paste on there. And I got this 99% alcohol and this little guy here to help clean that. So I'll figure the fan out later, but now what we can do is we can clean the we could clean the old gunk, old thermal paste off of the CPU and the heatsink. So I'm gonna use this guy here. And it comes off pretty easily. It's not much. It's a small amount. And this is 99% isopropyl alcohol, so it kind of dries off real fast. So I'm going to clean this off here too. Dab it a bit and kind of clean around here, get all the lint and other stuff off. There you go. It's nice and clean, as you can see. So we're pretty much ready to put paste on this guy. This guy's good too. So yeah, so this alcohol is pretty good. It dries off pretty quick. You can get it on Amazon, and these little tools are pretty helpful too. So when you dip it in and there's paste on it, don't dip it in again because you'll contaminate it with the gunk on there. Just toss the old one and just use a new one. Never double dip your tools into the alcohol. Okay, so I went to Home Depot, got these screws. They're sheet metal screws. This is the size that I got if you guys are interested. And I'm pretty much just going to screw these into the heatsink like this. So it might bend some of the heatsink, but it holds on to pretty tight. I think tight enough to have the fan on here. So this is the plan. Since the Synology is pulling air from the front to the back, I feel that it might be best to have this fan blow hot air out while it's pulling cold air in. There's a debate whether you should blow air in and out. I'm going to try out first to see how it is. And there's a little notch here from Noctua that tells you the direction of where the air flows. So it spins towards the left side and then blows air out this way. So I'm going to take the screw, pop it through this hole here, and then pretty much just screw it straight down onto the heatsink, and I think it should be in place. So I'm going to do that first before I put the new thermal paste on here and then pop this down onto the board. So let's put this aside here. So I'm going to try to center this as best as I can, and let me just get 2 screws ready. I'm going to screw it down. Like I said, I'll probably just bend the fin slightly from what it looks like, but it looks like it'll hold it down pretty well. So, oops, looks like this is the wrong type of screw I'm using. Yeah, let me find the right one. There you go. Be nice if you got the right bit. And then I'm going to center it as much as I can. And then I'll screw it down. Okay, so it bites it down pretty good. So as you can see there, I just got the perfect size, and it's holding it down pretty good with one screw. So I'm going to do it with the second one here. And it looks like I got it bullseye right in between. So it might even look straight. I don't have to tilt it or anything. So just don't over torque it. Just torque it enough so that it's on the heat sink. So that's how it looks like. I might just put 2 just to see. I think it's good because the rubber on the Noctua fan is kind of nested onto the heatsink, so hopefully that keeps it from vibration noise. But yeah, don't over torque it, just tighten it enough until the fan is nice and tight. So I think 2 is enough. If I'm going to monitor the situation, if it's noisy, I'll probably put more on there, but it's on there pretty good. Just in case if these back out for whatever reason, I could just use these 2 in the future. But yeah, it's on there pretty good. So so yeah, so you could probably try these screws, get this screw size if you want. And it didn't bend any fins either. So I think the size was just enough where the thread kind of eats into the heatsink and it kind of sticks it on there. So now that's done. I'm gonna get my thermal paste here. So we'll put all this away. And I've got this Corsair one laying around that I used on a couple of computer builds. And everything good. So I'm just going to put a small dab right in the center of the die. And then that should be enough for me to sandwich the heatsink on there. Okay, so come on. Okay, so a little dab right in the center. And then so this sits in the back like this, so I'm probably going to have the cable run towards the bottom. So I kind of I should have thought about that first, but I did orient it the way I want it, so the cable runs on the bottom to hook up to the power supply. So make sure that you do that first, how you want to run this cable. Mine just happened to run perfectly without me thinking about it. So now I'm going to push this down. Push this down until it clicks, and then push this down until it clicks. And make sure it clicks. Last time, I don't know how it got loose, but just make sure that it's all the way through. Just push it down to spring loaded, and just make sure it captures on the back like it did. So when I did it last time, because last time I had to take this apart because I had to do this mod here, because my Synology died. And there's this mod where you solder this transistor on here to get it working. I have a video on it, but I didn't put it together yet. But I'll probably do that after this. But yeah, so just make sure this is anchored down nicely on both sides. So mine, I'm double checking. It looks good. It's anchored down on that side. And it's also anchored down on this side as well. So that's pretty much it. So I got the fan on here. I put the 2 screws and repasted it, so everything should be good. So I'm pretty much done with everything here. So now the process would be putting this back together inside the case and hooking everything up, and then just running this wire underneath so I could get it hooked up. I did buy this Y cable here. Y cable is a splitter. So this hooks up to the board on Synology, which I'll show, and it splits to 2 connection. I'm going to connect this onto one of them, and then the stock fan onto that one. And yeah, so that's the plan, because even though Noctua gives you all the hardware, these particular hardware here, this is only an extension cable. And this here is a low noise adapter cable. So if you want to have the fan low noise, I guess there's a resistor in there or something to keep the fan low noise. And this is just a 3 to 2 pin male adapter. So you don't have a Y connector in the kit. So you'll definitely need to make sure you get one of these so that you can hook it up. Oh no, get one of these so you could split the power to power up this guy here. So my next step is I need to clean the chassis because the chassis is really dirty, and then I'll pop this back in when I'm done. All right, now that all the dust is kind of out of it, so everything kind of pretty clean. I mean, there's some dust on here, but that's fine. I don't, as long as all the loose dust is gone. I'm going to now work on the back here. So this is the rear panel, and we're gonna unscrew these smaller screws. You see how there's a big one here and a small one? We're gonna unscrew these small ones so we could pop this whole panel off and get to the fan connector in the back. So I'm going to do that right now. So let's offset this. All right, after you get those 4 screws out, the panel should be able to pop out like so. And there's the 2 fan leads. So this fan 1 and fan 1 and fan 2, according to the label here. So, since this is closest to where the main board will sit, I'm gonna unplug this guy here temporarily, and then the Y cable that I told you guys about earlier. Open it up, pop it out. So this is a Y cable. I'll put the link to the item below. So it will pretty much split between here, and it will get the power from this guy here. So then we'll need to plug it into fan 2. Okay, so now it's on there, and then I'm gonna plug this fan here like so, and then this guy will go to this guy here, and it looks like the cable's long enough, I think, just kind of looking at it. So I don't think I need an extender or anything, so I think this cable for the main board is long enough. So now we're pretty much done here, so I'm gonna try to actually I'll probably do it when everything's closed, but I'll close it up first. You can replace these fans too. People have done it online, but mine's running pretty good, and I think it was overheating because the heatsink wasn't installed properly when I put it back together last time. So I'll monitor the temperature. If I need better fans in the back, I'll pick it up. But now I'm going to just screw this down here. And I'm just going to put it down here and just kind of hold on to it and just make sure they're tight. They are kind of fragile, so just keep that in mind. So make sure you got the right bit for it. All right, now that everything is in, I'm going to look to the side here, and I see that Y cable. So I'm just going to stick my hand through and kind of make it so that the Y cable isn't too much in the way of the fan. I think that's good. So I kind of ran it toward on the bottom of the fan, so it's kind of out of the way. So there's extra slack on the stock fan wire, so you could give it some extra slack if you like. But I think I'm good for now. And there's already a protective grill on the front, so it won't damage anything. So yeah, I think we're good there. Okay, so next step is to get the main board back on this guy here. All right, here comes the fun part, installing the main board. So what I'm going to do first is, since this connector is kind of going to be in a weird area, I'm going to connect this fan first into the splitter cable that I installed earlier. So now this fan should have power, and then everything looks good. So now I'm going to install the board now because it's going to be kind of hard to install the power cable. So I'm going to try to get this cable out of the way. Okay, so I guess it's easiest to do is kind of this first header here, this guy here, kind of slot it in between the two USB, and then you can move it down out of the way. So that looks like it kind of helps get this slotted. And then I see it's aligned. Make sure it's aligned to those PCI slots inside. It's kind of hard to tell, but once you align it on both sides, so let me check. There's one there, and then the other is there. So I'm going to push it in. So now I see it. It's in. Connector's in. Now I'm going to let's screw it in now. So all the holes are aligned, as you can see. So make sure that they're aligned and it's flush with the main board. And then we're gonna take the screw. Remember, there's 5 of them, and just screw it in. I recommend screwing these in manually. Don't, since it's on the main board. Since it's on the main board, you don't want to use a power screw. Taking it out, I think it's okay, but you know what? It's probably better to screw it down with the plastic. So don't forget to do that. Now I gotta take everything out. So don't be a noob like me and forget to put the plastic on. All right, you should be good to go. Now we're gonna flip it down, and we're gonna hook the 3 connectors that you took apart earlier. So I forgot if this went on top or bottom. Probably went on the top here. So let's put the power supply back. Okay, make sure that thing security clips there, and then make sure these are in the outer position here, because when you're gonna push this cable in, it should just kind of clamp and lock in. So, like that. You just push it in and you notice that it just kind of went in automatically. So just make sure that's that. And then this is, I think, for all the fan controller stuff. So it's good now. It's in. Everything looks in. Just double check your connectors. Make sure the clip's good there, which it is. This is all the way in, and this is all the way in too. So that's it. That's the main board part, and then this wire here for the Noctua fan. Just kind of stuff it away. Think it should be fine. Kind of just get the wire out of the way so that the air will flow. So I think this is fine like that. It kind of just curves around the motherboard and then back around. But you know, my thought is air's going in, cold air is going in the front, hot air comes exhaust out from the heatsink, and then it pulls it out from the back. That's my thought. But if you guys think otherwise, just let me know. So the other, I think we're pretty much done. So we're gonna put the cover back on and then pop the hard drives in. So here is the cover. Make sure everything's clear and nice and snug. And the other thing I forgot to mention is you might want to make sure that your I/O ports are kind of nice and snugged as well. So just kind of push it down so that you don't have any issues. So everything looks aligned on my end. The top part does look a little crooked, but let me see if I could fix that. So it looks like one of the standoffs here didn't go all the way through, so I'm gonna fix that. So it's always good to check that. Okay, so yeah, so make sure that the standoff it's in. It was gapped a little bit, so the USB port wasn't all the way in. So make sure you check that. So if you see any gaps here from the standoffs, just make sure it's flush with the system. It wasn't flush before, but now it is. So that caused the top USB ports to be a little off before, but now it's all flush, so everything's flush. So make sure that you check that to align everything. Yeah, auto standoffs look good now. Okay, so now the IO port is aligned. It's time to button this guy up. So let's go ahead and close this guy up here. Slide it in. And then we're gonna put the screws back on. Alrighty, everything buttoned up. Everything is aligned here. All the screw was in perfectly. Fans look new. The last step is to pop in the hard drive. And it's kind of cool. Look at how the fan kind of sits there. It's pretty good. And I think it's also good that the fan's blowing out because one of the hard drives sits here really close. And this hard drive, these hard drives do emit heat since they're platter. So the heat coming out of the hard drive might have pulled heat into the heat sink. So I think it's better for it to blow out in this case. But yeah, it looks, the Noctua fan fits really well in there, as you can see. That's really awesome. So actually, before powering it on, I want to see if that fan works with the Y splitter. So it's always good to check that first. So I'm going to power it up without the hard drives. And then, so it's plugged in right now. I'm going to turn it on. So blue light. I see the fan spinning in the back. So that's good. So fan spinning. And I actually see the fan spinning on the Noctua unit as well. So it's always good to plug it in to make sure it's running. So yeah, it's running right now, as you can see, if it's when the camera's try to focusing in on it. And with the fan running, it's quiet. I can't hear anything from this unit, so it's not too loud. Looks like it's running. I don't hear any vibrations. I think we should be good to go. So yeah, let's install this bad boy in. Install the hard drives in. All right, here's the fun part: installing the hard drive. So this hard drive one, and like I said, this mechanism here kind of doesn't hold anymore. Broken. Even though I don't take the hard drive much, but when you pop it in, it doesn't lock anymore. But if you just use the key here and just kind of force it down and just lock it, it's good. It's not going anywhere. So you don't really need to buy the caddy. It is kind of pricey, and these hard drives aren't going anywhere, so you could always do it that way. I'm going to pop in all the hard drives now. All right, they're all in. Everything is done. This unit is, well, it's a lot heavier with the hard drives in, but it's pretty much done and it's ready to be powered up. So I'm going to power it up and we'll see the temperature difference. I was getting about 70 C average in the room. So let's see what it looks like after I get everything plugged in. So this is how I have my network in the back set up. I know it's kind of ghetto, but I link aggregated it. So all these 4 ports are running as one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I labeled each one just to make sure. So when you link aggregate, just make sure that you have all of the network ports plugged in, and this is everything kind of pretty much plugged in. So I have my NAS set up here, and that's how I have it set up. I know it's not the ideal location, kind of in the corner, but I did leave enough gap there so that there's air, enough gap here, between here, and in the back as well, so it's got good air blowout, exhaust, and air taken from the front. So everything is pretty much good to go. So now it's time to power it up and see how the temperature is on my NAS. Okay, so here's a chart. I have my Synology piped into my Home Assistant to log all the temperature readings. So I ran a report here from July 8th to July 13th. And from July 8th, as you can see, I'm averaging between high 60 to about mid 70s. On some hotter days, it goes about to mid 70s. But seeing the temperature here, high 60s, low 70s, mid 70s. So it's been consistently around the temperature. But from here, after on July 11th, around 9 p.m., I took my Synology offline to do the mod, and I took it back online July 11th, yesterday at noon. And as you can see, look at the temperature difference. It's almost 30 degrees Celsius temperature difference. That's crazy. So I think twofold is the fans definitely helping pulling air out, and having the heat sink with properly on the die, and um, the new paste on there actually worked out really well. So far so good. If it's any different, I'll let you guys know. But it looks like it's been running around low 40s to high 30s right now. So definitely happy, big improvement. That's a great mod. Hope you guys liked the video. If you guys have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. Any questions, I'm happy to help. I'll put all the stuff in the description of everything that I've used. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys, like always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out till next time.